Hi, what's poppin'? It's your boy Big Rich, Queens, New York City, where we get busy. 103 degrees, real field temperature, but we still must conduct business. 3 Lucchese family mobsters get life for 2013 murder of Purple Gang leader Michael Meldish. Now, I'm just going to say 2 Lucchese family members and an associate, because I would say Terrence Caldwell, as close as he is to the family. I wouldn't say that Terrence Caldwell is a family member, but I'm going to say he's a very close associate to the Lucchese family member. But hey, tomatoes, all right? Gentlemen, you know the rules. Wipe your feet on the rug. Throw some smoke into the atmosphere. I just lit up a little bit of Sunday Driver, indica dominant. I like it. Following the grisly 2013 murder of notorious gangster Michael Meldish, a former acting Lucchese crime boss, a hired gunman, and another mobster were all jailed for life on Monday. As reported by the New York Daily News, 84-year-old family boss Matthew Madonna allegedly ordered the November 15, 2013 hit on Meldish, who was the leader of the infamous Purple Gang. Allegedly, an ambush was set up by gangster Christopher Londonio, a pal of Meldish's, in a quiet residential street in the Throgs Neck section of the Bronx, where mob associate Terrence Caldwell allegedly shot Meldish in the head and fled the scene in a car driven by Londonio. According to the report, the beef stemmed from Meldish's failure to collect money that Madonna had lent. Quote, this defendant was the acting head of a murderous organization that terrorized its community. He profited from that. He led that. He knew perfectly well what the members of the enterprise were up to and that the money flowing up to him was not lawfully obtained. White Plains federal judge Crooked Kathy Seibel said of Madonna, this would be a heinous offense even if nobody died, but somebody did die. And this defendant agrees that that should happen. The judge pointed out how the mafia continues to be romanticized in pop culture despite being a crime syndicate comparable to MS-13. I would not compare the mafia to MS-13, period. Quote, I think people forget that being the boss of an organized crime family is a very bad thing to be, Crooked Kathy Seibel said. Nonetheless, Madonna maintains he is innocent. Quote, I had absolutely nothing to do with the tragic death of Michael Meldish, he said. As reported by the Daily News, the judge indicated that Londonio was considering pleading guilty in order to avoid a life sentence. However, he took a step back after learning that other mobsters didn't approve. Crooked Kathy Seibel added that Londonio, who declined to address the court before being sentenced, had a very misplaced sense of loyalty to the Lucchese family. And that's not true. He did not decline to address the court, and we'll talk about that afterwards. Michael Meldish once had total control over the drug trade in the Bronx and Harlem and was known to do hit jobs for the Lucchese, Bonanno, and Genovese crime families. Michael's brother and partner in crime, Joseph Meldish, is believed to be responsible for as many as 70 contract murders. Law enforcement officers celebrated the death of Meldish at the time, describing him a stone-cold killer who had purportedly carried out at least 10 killings at the behest of the mafia in the 1970s and 1980s. Michael was a stone-cold killer. We couldn't get any witnesses. They had the people so terrified they just wouldn't cooperate, said Joseph Coffey, former commanding officer of the NYPD's Organized Crime Homicide Task Force, said at the time of his death. Coffey, who had joined the NYPD after working on rackets investigations for the Manhattan District Attorney, said the Meldish brothers were targets of ours. They were the lowest of the low, he continued. They were running a protection racket on bars and restaurants. They'd come in and shoot up the place. Just ruthless scumbags. His murder should have happened a long time ago, he added at the time. I call it vermin killing vermin. Poetic justice. Let me just tell you about a couple of things that happened behind the scenes that wasn't in the paper. First of all, them saying that Londonio declined to address the court is false. He did address the court, and when he was asked if he had anything to say, he said, nothing to say, Your Honor, thank you. So that's not declining, first of all. So let's get our facts straight. And Matthew Madonna quoted Benjamin Franklin and said, a lie stands on one leg, truth stands on two. Today I stand on 2 legs. I am innocent. I had nothing to do with the tragic death of Mr. Meldish. I conspired with no one. And here's something that nobody's going to talk about. While Madonna was in prison, he earned 3 degrees and taught math and poetry to other inmates. So that's something that they won't write about that you should know. Now, let me tell you something about Crooked Kathy Seibel. If you know about this case, if this is the first time you're listening to this video, go back to season 1 and listen to all the videos we did about the Michael Meldish murder case. I'm going to say it one last time. They had no video. They had no audio. They had no eyewitnesses. The only witnesses they had were all snitches and rats, drug dealers, drug addicts, and mentally insane criminals. Literally, they were mental. Making up stories on stories like how Christopher Londonio lost weight so he could escape from jail and shit like that. They have nothing but the word of disgraciads. That's all they were. It's one disgraciad after another coming onto the stand and just saying, well, I heard this and I heard that. And he told me this and he told me that. And Crooked Kathy Seibel let it all, just let them all run with it. Basically just convince the jury that come back with a guilty verdict and we're putting them all away for life. So they were sentenced to life. Matthew Madonna, Christopher Londonio, and Terrence Caldwell, right? From left to right. So, and also, I spoke to Dominic, and I also spoke to Lisa. Stephen Crea will be sentenced next week, okay? Christopher Londonio's lawyer is going to appeal it, and I'm pretty sure all the other lawyers will appeal for their clients, okay? So again, very sad day, right? Mob Story Season 2. And again, go look at the chronological order of videos we've did since last year about this case. It gets crazier and crazier. And after that, go check out www.guiltfortheguiltless.com. The whole Stephen Crea story about this case. I mean, it's just crazy how this judge allowed this bullshit to fly. So Crooked Kathy Seibel, I hope you get your day one day and you are no longer allowed to be a judge. And I hope these guys can get their date for an appeal soon, because they're already, Stephen Crea and Matthew Madonna. I mean, they're respectfully, they're old men. I mean, come on, you know what I'm saying? So, Big Rich, let me know what you're smoking on. Throw some smoke in the air, right? And when Lisa drops her article, we'll definitely put it up ASAP. I already told her to send me the link, all right? This is your boy Big Rich, Queens, New York City, where we get busy. Salute.